Today on TimesCast, Haiti gears up for its first election since the earthquake. New York's candidates for governor meet in prime time, and a first look at Tuesday's Science Times reflections on living to 100.
That's the secret of life. Don't emphasize anything that is evil or bad, but get rid of it or rise above it.
In today's Times, Deborah Sontag reports on Haiti's continuing struggle 9 months after the earthquake. In TimesCast, she looks at the presidential candidates hoping to lead the devastated country.
Here we are in the Times Square of Port-au-Prince, 9 months after the devastating earthquake, and not very much has changed. We have a tent camp of tens of thousands of families that has taken root and not moved. Over here we have the National Palace, which was devastated by the earthquake, symbolic of the challenge that lays ahead for whoever chooses to be the next leader of this country. The elections are in 6 weeks. Strangely posted along this fence in front of the palace is a rogues gallery of the 19 contenders for the presidential election. Here at the start of this lineup, you have Myrlande Manigat. She is a former First Lady and a university administrator who polls show to be the leading contender. Whether the polls have any validity remains to be seen. Another major contender is Jude Celestin, who is the somewhat hand-picked successor to the current President Préval and the head of the road-building state company. You also have all of these other people whose images and slogans are strewn up throughout Port-au-Prince. There's a musician, there's an architect, there's a former prime minister, and many others. There will almost inevitably be 2 rounds of voting because the winning candidate has to have 50% of the vote plus 1. With 19 candidates, that's almost impossible. So the momentum is starting to build, although you don't see a great passion here for any single individual towards November 28th.
So Nick, tonight we finally have our first debate between our sort of controversy a day Republican candidate for governor of New York, Carl Palladino, and our very, very controlling Democratic candidate for governor, Andrew Cuomo.
These two guys, Carl Palladino and Andrew Cuomo, have never actually met before in this campaign.
Incredible.
In the weeks that they have this election. It's really the first time we're going to see them on a stage together, even in a room together.
But they're not the only 2 people on the stage, right? So we've got 5 other also very flamboyant candidates who are going to be out there.
Yeah, typically the front runner insists on having all the minor party candidates, and there are 5 of them besides the Republican and the Democrat. There's a libertarian candidate, there's an anti-prohibition candidate, there's a rent is too damn high candidate. But what's funny this time is that it was Carl Palladino who was insisting on that condition. And what he said is, it took me the hard way to get onto the ballot. I had to petition, I was shut out at the convention.
And is it also about sort of the possibility that they could all gang up on him, on Andrew Cuomo, and make life hard for him at this debate?
That's a possibility. I mean, Carl Palladino has said this is a matter of principle for him. Maybe in his mind he's thinking, if there are more guys on the stage, more gals on the stage, I have to speak less. Everyone's only going to talk for about 8 minutes total in the whole debate.
This is the kind of event Andrew Cuomo must hate because he is such a controlling guy, and he's going to have kind of what could be a chaotic event, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is this is kind of the unknown for him. This is the first moment in the campaign where he's obligated to present himself in a forum, in a setting where anything could really happen.
So, Nick, if you had to make a prediction about tonight, people are expecting like fireworks, flamboyant characters. What do you think?
That's the conventional wisdom, but I'm going to predict an actually pretty boring and quiet debate as everybody tries to be respectable.
Well, I think it's great to live to be 100. There's no secret about it. Really, you just don't die.
Tuesday's Science Times explores life after 100, the accomplishments and the burdens.
3rd of February, I was 100 years old. And I tell people, that's too long to live. You're so useless. It seems like you're not doing any good to anybody.
I always put anything disagreeable or bad out of the way. That's the secret of life. Don't emphasize anything that is evil or bad, but get rid of it or rise above it.
I'm forgetting many really important experiences. Sometimes it's hell. It's hard to understand unless you experience that.
I think the genes that we are born with help a great deal. And thankfully, I can keep my mind more or less alert, which I'm very grateful for. I'm not handicapped in the sense that I can, thank God, get around, but I'm naturally a little more sluggish than I was 5 years ago.
Join us again tomorrow for TimesCast.